Well, hello. Guess what I found? An invasive weed that everybody hates. And you know what? It's totally eatable. This is Japanese knotweed. Japanese knotweed. And you know what? This is my first time ever being around when it's young. This spring season, time to find it. So, you can see here, it looks somewhat similar to bamboo, and it grows virulently, similarly to it. But it has a hollow stem, some things to look for. See these little hollow stems here? It's kind of mucilaginous. Let's find out what it tastes like, okay? You can show them down here. This is what it looks like when it's growing up a little bit. We had a frost recently. That's what killed off a bunch of the tops of these. But this thing takes over and it's super hard to get rid of, I guess. So people don't like it very much. But when it's young, like a foot in size, you can peel it. Similar to, let's see, a little sour, a little greeny. It's actually really good. It's super good. It's almost like a sour lemon, similar if you've ever had wood sorrel, sourdough. Oh, it's so good. It's super good. I'm really relieved, because you never know. When you try some of these things, people are like, you can eat it. And then you go to eat it and you're like, yeah, but it's not really eatable. It's edible, but not eatable. This is definitely in the category of I'd totally dine on this thing on a regular basis. You peel it kind of like, you can take those strands off the outside of celery if you really want to, but you can peel this one too. You can also cook the leaves if you'd like. People like to cook it up. That's delicious. Yeah, this is a fantastic one to go hunt for. It tastes like, almost like a hint of cucumber too, at the end. That's fantastic. Anyways, I just found a new little treasure. Whenever you're out looking for something good and yum, go along the sides of the abandoned, forgotten places that people don't want to go to. You'll find some good stuff there. Live dangerously. Go eat wild plants. I love y'all. Talk to you soon. We found more of it. Here's what it looks like coming out of mulch. So you can see when it's young, it is really tender. I got it, sweetheart. I really appreciate your offer. But you can see here, it's sprouting up all over. Nate's got some.
It's got a pinkish.
Yes, it's much more similar to a plant that's called rhubarb, which I don't believe you girls have ever had. It is. It's a little sour, but if you peel the outer part off, it's not as bitter. It's still very juicy, very moist.
See? Juice just squirted out of mine. I had an egg this morning and it squirted juice out of it. Sweet.
That one's better, huh? When you get some of them that are a little bit bigger, you can see it just coming up everywhere. People, this is kind of considered very invasive. I mean, it's really hard to get rid of. So, but you can see, here's some as it's getting bigger, coming right out of this stump, right up next to it. But this is the perfect time to harvest it before it frosts off, because we still are getting occasional frost. But surprisingly, this guy made it through the last 3 nights below freezing. And we've got a lot here to harvest, which is great. I think we want to cut and bring a bunch home and fry it up.
They're basically the same kind of taste, but the bigger ones are a little better.
Bigger ones are a little better. The real thin ones are more bitter?
Yeah.
Mm.
But I like to peel it with my teeth, and it tastes a lot better than munching it.
Nice. There you go. Ooh.
You'll find it by rivers sometimes.
Mm-hmm. We found it by creek. We found it by
a river.
Roads, rivers. You ought to always look out for those signs that it's been sprayed with an herbicide, or you'll see the tops dying off. A lot of the herbicides that people use, what they do is they kill the microbiology of what's under the soil, where the active layer of transformation is taking place from carbon on the outside like this to get converted into usable foods. The little nematodes and the worms, but you can see this little buddy popping up all over the place. Here, this right here next to it, this is English ivy. It's just taking over everywhere. It's like a ground cover now. Yeah.
The leaves?
Mm-hmm. Try it. May not be as eatable. Yeah, not your favorite.
It's bitter.
Bitter.
That one's rotting. Look.
You can see these are like the previous kind of stands of it. I mean, so now you get an idea of what it looks like when it's older. It's all this. So it's prolific. It's all over. This whole little area has been
There's a baby.
kind of taken
There's a
over
baby.
by it. There's plenty of sun and lots of moisture from runoff.
Baby.
There's a baby. But I'd rather something that's edible, even though it's invasive. I'm much rather have something that's edible invasive than not, like the English ivy, which people still sell at the stores, and it takes over. It'll completely out-compete everything around it when it comes to ground cover style. But you can see they're still doing it together. They're living together. They're finding a way. They're working on stuff that's problems in the soil. Like this area they got basically clear cut, set the soil system back to a much more acidic state. So the stuff like this can live there, whereas other stuff cannot now. That's good. That's the natural, that's the natural way of getting rid of stuff. When it doesn't taste right, just spit it out. Ain't no problem. There's no chef to offend with that reaction. You're doing great. I love it. Not nice? We found a snack.